and y'all can hear me. Perfect. Hi everyone, my name is Rucha. I am the founder of Marketing Lasagna. We are a Pune-based, design-driven marketing agency. And today we'll be talking about building a career in Instagram marketing. So we'll start with the presentation now. We'll try and wrap that up in 35-40 minutes and have a good whole 20 minutes for you guys to ask questions and get your questions answered. So if you have any questions, keep shooting them in the chat below, or you also have a question option where you can drop in your questions. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so how to build your career in Instagram marketing. Now, before we talk about how to actually build your career in Instagram marketing, let's talk about why Instagram, right? Instagram has now it's over 1 billion. So Instagram has over 1 billion active monthly users. Not just the number of people who have not just the number of people who have signed up, but the people who use Instagram each and every month are over 1 billion in number. So you can imagine the audience that you're reaching out to, the bulk of the audience which is constantly on the platform. Out of these users, 69 million are registered users in India. So even if your brand or your client or the company just targets India, Instagram is one of the most perfect platforms at this point. More than 70% of Instagram users are under 35 years of age, which means if you're selling any product which is targeted towards the younger generation, towards people who have just started jobs, uh, anybody from their teenage to their early 30s, Instagram is the ideal platform to reach out to them. And few people know this fact that before Instagram was actually acquired by Facebook, Instagram was created by the makers for the purpose of being a very visual platform. The whole purpose of Instagram was to be an art sharing platform where artists, photographers could share the creative work that they had created. From being a visual platform, Instagram has evolved into being one of the world's largest digital marketing platforms, largest in terms of the revenue that it generates and also in terms of the ad saturation that is there on the platform. But over all the other platforms that are available, over all the other marketing channels that are available, why are we going for Instagram? Because if you look at this graph, which is by Social Pilot, okay, side note, Social Pilot is a very good company that writes blog articles about marketing, digital marketing typically. So you guys should follow them and keep updated with whatever new they've come up with. It's a good trend following agency. So, which social media platform is the most effective for growing engagements? Hands down, it is Instagram. Reason being, Instagram is a very social platform. Is a very visual platform. Sorry, my bad. 59% Instagram and 18% Facebook. Do you guys see the dip in Facebook? The reason people say Facebook's organic reach is dying is because Instagram's organic reach actually has increased in a certain way. So, what are the skills that you need to be an Instagram marketer or an Insta ninja, as we like to call ourselves? First and foremost, everybody who thinks that Insta is just a game of clicking a pretty picture for a brand and putting it up on the platform, that is so not what it is. Research is the most basic thing that you need to be well versed with. Whichever brand you're working for, whichever company you're working for, or your own brand, you need to be you constantly need to be updated with your own market research, what the audience segmentation for your domain is going to be, which are the hashtags which are constantly trending and changing, who are the influencers for your domain, finding the right statistics for your domain, always keeping a check on what the CPCs are today, what the CPCs are 2 months down the line, how the prices have increased quarter after quarter, what the trend has been like in the entire past year. You constantly need to be up to date with that. A strategic approach to brand creation. Instagram is no longer a platform where you can just put up pretty pictures and get away with it. Everything that you do, every piece of content that goes out there has to come from a very streamlined strategy at the core of it. Only then the messaging that you have in all of these posts on all of these platforms will fall into a single brand personality. So a strategic approach is very important, which means reading up on strategies of what all the major brands on Instagram are doing is also very important. Creative content creation in terms of writing, design, photography, video, what to post, what people want to see. There's a huge distinction between what we normally post and what people want to see. And as a brand or as a content creator, it's your job to identify the line and sort of meet at the midpoint of what is ideal for the brand that you're working for. Data driven, using the ability to use analytics to prove ROI and create meaningful social media reports. Very important, because you get an Instagram client, you start promoting for them, you start putting up social media posts, and after that, 1 month down the line, 2 months down the line, they're going to ask you what our progress has been so far, how have we done, what are the numbers that we can benchmark. You actually should have the ability to look at the reports, to analyze, to draw insights from those, and to draw out recommendations for your next month's plan for your clients. That's the most important aspect of marketing. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. If you want to retain a client month on month, having the ability to report to them and convincing them that the performance is good is the most important skill that you are going to need. Effective community management, customer service, ORM, replying to messages, replying to comments becomes a very integral part of Instagram marketing, because when somebody drops a comment, even 5 minutes after that, people don't remember why they commented, on which post they commented. So promptness when it comes to ORM is very important for Instagram. Optimizing and repurposing. So repurposing content has become an industry in itself. So you take an interview. If you guys follow Gary Vaynerchuk, I'm sure most of you all who are here on this webinar today do follow Gary Vaynerchuk. Repurposing content is all about creating or recording, investing in creating that one media asset. That one media asset can be an interview with an industry leaders, let's say, and then repurposing content from that one interview on all of your platforms in all ways possible. You can take an excerpt and put it in a post. You can take a quotable out of that. You can take snippets out of that video. You can use the video as a podcast on other platforms. So optimizing and repurposing content is something you need to be really good at, because you need to find 10 different ways to communicate the same message. Being updated with digital marketing trends, very important, guys, because the platform is Instagram today, the channel is Facebook today. Largely it was Google a few years ago. Tomorrow it may just be TikTok and Twitter. You never know. Algorithms keep evolving, platforms keep changing. You need to keep yourself updated with the marketing trends, because at the core of it, it's all about pull and push marketing. So you even need to know which are the new apps which are coming up on which you can market. For example, now TikTok has started marketing. So that's one thing you can try out. We spoke a lot about what skills you guys need to become an effective Instagram marketer, let's call it. But one thing that most of the Instagram marketers or freelancers or digital marketers in this industry out there lack, even when they're trying to do a client pitch, even when they're trying to talk to a prospective customer, client, or for their own business, is they forget what the definition of marketing is, right? Marketing is nothing but connecting to your target audience to market your offering. Your offering could be a product, it could be a service, or it could be an online product or service, and connecting to your target audience. It does not say making a sales pitch to your target audience. The reason most of the people go wrong, the reason people invest money, invest in Facebook ad spends and don't get sales, is because every post that they put out there, every ad that they put out there, it's a constant sales pitch. You are constantly asking something of your customer without giving them value firsthand. If you guys follow Gary, definitely, he's also got a book called Jab 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 Right Hook, which I really recommend all of you all to read. The book talks about a concept of jab 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 right hook, which basically means a jab is basically every time you give value to a customer, it's a jab because you're penetrating through the market. So you give value, you give value, you give value, and then the fourth time you put a right hook, which is basically you make a sales pitch. What he's trying to say is if you give value enough number of times, then the one time you actually do a sales pitch, your audience is going to be responsive and they are going to respond in the right manner. Similarly, there's a book by Russell Brunson called .com Secrets. I recommend you guys to read that book also. It's on a different level of sales funnels, but there is a very basic concept in that book which he has reiterated over and over again, where he says that if somebody is selling you a burger for 50 rupees and another restaurant is selling you a burger for 350 rupees, you go to the restaurant which sells you a burger for 50 rupees and you go and tell them that their burger is overpriced. It does not mean that your burger is overpriced because the same person has paid 350 rupees for a burger elsewhere. What it means is the person doesn't find enough value in your burger, or rather in the experience of eating in your restaurant, to be worth 50 rupees. So the concept that all of the marketers really emphasize is you give so much value, you add so much value that the cost becomes a steal price for your customer, for your end consumer. So jab, 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 right hook, not hook, 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 jab. Keep that in mind. Now that we've covered what skills you guys need and what marketing basically means, let's talk about a few Instagram marketing tips, right? If you guys Google, if you guys search on YouTube, there are a lot of basic tutorials on how you can get started with Instagram marketing. It's as simple as you create a strategy, you make posts, but we are going to go a little more into the details of this and point out a few things that you must do if you are not doing. First and foremost, if it's a company profile, if it's any profile through which you plan to get any kind of lead or sales, make sure to switch it to a business profile. Even if it's your own profile and you're trying to get a client, make it a business profile. If it's not a business profile, you will never understand the number of people who came to your profile, who went through your website, who scrolled through your posts, which was the best performing post, which post garnered the maximum amount of engagement. You will never realize that if it's not a business profile. How to create a business profile? It's very easy, just Google it. Think mobile, not desktop visual. Guys, Instagram was created as an app primarily as a phone app, not as a platform for your desktop or your iPad. So, which is why even when you have to post something on Instagram, ideally it can be done only through the phone. Now, of course, there are tools which let you schedule posts for Instagram through your laptop. But remember that your end consumer, over 96% of the Instagram consumers consume it on their phone. So whenever you create a visual or a photo for Instagram, look at it in that size of that 180 by 180 pixels on your phone. WhatsApp it to a friend, look at the image on that smaller size, and if it's legible there, if it's impactful there, then it goes on Instagram. Don't look at it on a huge desktop screen and say, okay, people are going to like this. It's a mobile platform, not a desktop platform. Publish consistently. Very important, guys. Nobody can emphasize this enough. Gary has been shouting his head off for the past so many years that consistency is the key on any social media platform, be it Instagram, be it Facebook, be it Musically. You have to be consistent if you want to build a brand. The shelf life of a post on Instagram until 4 years ago used to be 2 to 3 days, because that's how low the saturation on Instagram was. That's how less the users were. Now the shelf life of an Instagram post, organic shelf life, is below 24 hours, which means you can ideally post even 3 times a day and not necessarily all of the people in your feed will see your post. Story a day keeps the brand recall alive. Very true. Stories give you 70% more engagement than your Instagram posts, which means even if you don't post regularly, make sure to upload at least 2 stories regularly, because they because there are very few brands even now that do stories, and the moment you publish a story, it pops right on the top of your profile, and in one of the it's one of the first stories to pop up, because you're a brand and like because you're a business profile, it actually pops up before the personal profile stories pop up. So always put a story if you want to keep the brand recall alive. Timing matters. Yeah, when you have a business profile, you can also check which is the best time for you to post, or at what time in the day are your audience actually most active, and post on those times. Cross promote on other social media platforms. You can share through Instagram to three other social media platforms, and it's just a button away. So make sure that you're always sharing on other social media platforms as well. If nothing, it's just going to help you cross promote. Leverage sponsored ads. That small button that you see below the post which says promote, click on that button, see what magic that has, and promote your posts, because the organic reach for Instagram is also reducing day by day. And soon there will be a time where not even hashtags will be able to help you in organic growth. So for Facebook, the organic growth is dead. For Instagram, let's say it's at 30%, and every year it will reduce by another 10%. So start leveraging sponsored ads as soon as you can. Optimize hashtags. Very important. I've seen a lot of brands work on their hashtags at the very beginning, but later on, as they start posting 10 posts, 20 posts, 2 months down the line, they're still using the same hashtags. Guys, trends are constantly changing. The trending hashtags are also constantly changing. So even if you belong to the skincare domain, a hashtag which trended a few months ago, charcoal was something which was trending a few months ago, is not necessarily trending now. Red onion oil is trending now, or turmeric is trending now. So always keep a check on which hashtag are trending. Hashtag moment marketing and hashtag trending format. These are the two hashtags you guys should follow if you want to capitalize on the trending formats and moment marketing posts that are going viral on Instagram. You guys must have seen the post with multiple arrows going to a save, a like, a comment, or the art and the artist kind of posts. These are nothing but moment marketing posts, where it's a format which is started by one agency, multiple brands take it up, and then it's just a wave of this trending format. And since people are looking for these hashtags, they stumble upon your post organically, and that gives you some extra eyeballs. But do remember that these eyeballs will not necessarily be the audience that you are looking for. So it's an option, it's your choice if you want to do a trending format or not. Build your own hashtag. It's very important from day one that you craft out your own hashtag, which will be a unique hashtag, because when you're on your 100th post, on your 200th post, or your 400th post, and you have given enough value to the society that people are actually looking forward to consuming your content, they can just search Instagram by your hashtag, and anybody who has posted you, reposted you, all of your posts fall under that hashtag. So it's a good way to kind of categorize yourself on Instagram. Schedule it out. Most of the marketers, most of the professionals schedule their posts and content in advance. Some people do it 1 week in advance, some people do it 15 days in advance. We recommend 15 days, we don't recommend 1 month, because sometimes, COVID-19 is a good example for that, unfortunately. A lot of people had a lot of posts scheduled, but something like this hits the economy, and it creates waves and basically changes the nature of all the content that was created. So 15 days to 1 week is a good enough time to schedule out your posts. Giveaways are the shiz. Yes, on Instagram, even today, contest alerts and free giveaways work a lot. If you guys want to have, if you guys are looking to attract a massy audience where you have a B2C brand, do a giveaway, and your followers go up by like 100 followers instantly. So giveaways are quite good. Influencers aren't numbers. If you guys are doing influencer collaborations, don't go by the numbers. Instagram is in fact testing a theory where they won't disclose the number of followers that an influencer has, and they won't even display the number of likes on their post. In that case, how are you going to gauge the impact of that influencer, or the actual influence of that influencer, the following that they have? Always look at the engagement that an influencer has. Look at the quality of comments that they have. When you ask them for their media kit, where a media kit is basically where they talk about what their reach is, how many people their post reaches, how many people see, how many people comment and stuff, the stats that they can see at their back end. Whenever you ask them for a media kit, also ask them to give you a quality engagement analysis, where basically they talk about how much percentage of their following engages with them with respect to comments, shares, reposts, IGTV comments. These are very important numbers. In fact, IGTV numbers are very important because all your IGTV audience is organic. So always look at that. IGTV can be unfiltered. Guys, IGTV is a platform within Instagram which not a lot of companies or brands are tapping. Uh, it hasn't gained that much traction yet since it was launched, but it will very soon. And just because a video for it to go on IGTV has to be longer than 1 minute doesn't mean it has to be a very curated video. Like I'm giving this webinar now, even a 5 minute snippet of this webinar can go onto an IGTV video, and it can be unfiltered, very candid content. It's supposed to be it's supposed to be a self shot or a self portrait video format when IGTV was launched. So don't curate the IGTV content too much. Don't make an entire feature film for your IGTV. Okay, keep it very simple. Mind the music. Okay, this is something very annoying actually. A lot of people with a lot of enthusiasm put music and background music in a lot of their stories. But guys, remember, when people are going through your stories, sometimes the music can be too loud, too annoying, and it's the worst when the music has a lot of background noise. So I would recommend avoid the music altogether if possible, or don't keep it on a loud volume. Have like slightly subtle, more clear and crisp music if at all it's actually needed. Coming to the services that you can offer under Instagram marketing, right, and how they can be bundled up. One very clear bundle is going to be the content, brand content creation, which is basically creating the visuals, the posts, and the text that go along with it, and of course the hashtags that go along with it. This is one service that is offered. If you want to upsell that further, you can combine that with brand awareness campaigns, where basically you're promoting posts, but you're promoting them only for the purpose of reach and impressions. So the goal is to get likes, which is in India, you get likes at a very cheap cost. So brand awareness is a very easy goal to meet. A slightly more difficult growth is brand engagement, which has a lot to do with people commenting on your posts and people reposting what you've shared. This needs a lot of organic engagement also. This also needs you to DM followers, to DM the people who have liked, to get in touch with influencers. Only then your engagement starts growing organically. Brand growth, where you basically increase followers. In today's times, if you have to increase followers on Instagram, you have to do paid ads on Instagram on a daily basis and drive the traffic back to your Instagram profile. Only letting it grow organically is not going to cut it unless you are extremely active on Instagram. Unless you're spending, let's say, 4 or 5 hours on Instagram, on one Instagram account every day, the brand growth in terms of followers is not going to happen really fast. If you want accelerated growth, go for ads. With ads, you can increase your following to up to 20,000 followers in a single year as well, like from 500 followers to 20,000 followers in 1 year, and even faster depending on what your budget for the ad is. Brand sales. This is the last goal that we have with Instagram as a package, where the end goal of your client is to give them ROI. From my experience, the number of clients you approach, or when you are looking for clients, most of the people who will reach out to you don't really care much about brand awareness or brand engagement or brand growth, because let's face it, we are in a very competitive economy, and if they are spending 5 rupees, they want ROI worth that 5 rupees. So it will all boil down to sales in the Indian market, at least majorly. So make sure that whatever proposal you're offering them, it has a direct or indirect link to revenue, because otherwise the client is not going to be convinced for investing so much in a branding or a brand awareness campaign. So I have a very small cheat sheet of tools and softwares that you guys can use for Instagram, and we have categorized this into management, creative, and analyzing, like analysis reporting tools. For management, Facebook Business Manager and Ads Manager. If you guys are promoting Instagram posts through your mobile app, guys, please stop doing that. That's what amateurs do. Very important tip: Google Facebook Ad Manager, Google how to promote an Instagram post on Facebook Ad Manager, create your Facebook Business Manager, create your own Facebook Business Manager, link your Facebook page to it, link your Instagram account to it, create an ad account there, give yourself the access, add more people if you want to in the Business Manager, people who are working with you, give them advertiser access, and promote your posts through your Facebook Business Manager. Even if you're promoting your clients' posts, always through Facebook Business Manager. Don't ever forget. It has a lot of tools like audience insights, pixel integrations that you need to use, you need to learn to use if you want to be an effective marketer. Also, a fun fact, I had mentioned this the last time in the webinar as well, but if you promote an Instagram post for 100 rupees through your phone app, right, where you set an audience on the app and you promote it, let's say you get 300 likes on your post. The same one, if you create the audience in Business Manager and you promote your post through that, you'll end up getting almost twice as many likes. And that's just how the Facebook algorithm works, because the audience targeting on your Instagram app is very basic. It's very, very primitive. On Facebook Business Manager, you can target people not only by interests, but by interests, location, age, by behavior, by demographics. You can target Android users, iOS users, people who have a new job, people who have birthdays coming up, people who are married, people who are in a relationship. All of these different demographics can be targeted separately in Facebook Business Manager. You can also target a combination of people, let's say people who are interested in football, but they are also interested in Game of Thrones. If that's like a weird combination that you need, if you're creating some Game of Thrones plus football t-shirts, you can target them precisely on Facebook Business Manager. Trello is something that we use. It's something that we normally use internally, but you can always choose between Trello, Hootsuite, and Buffer for scheduling your Instagram posts and your Facebook posts. We also use Trello basically when we have a client, because it's easy for the client to give us feedback on our social media posts on Trello, because you can share every board with a different client and it's free of cost. So it works well for starters. Repost is an app which you will require a lot, because if you want to repost somebody's Instagram post, plain and simple, you need Repost. Grum is another app which is primarily for Instagram scheduling and posting, but I would still prefer Hootsuite over Grum, because we have faced a few problems with Buffer as well. So Hootsuite is something I would recommend. For your creatives that you make, for the visuals and for the images, if you don't have a lot of technical knowledge, I would suggest explore Canva. You can edit images easily on Canva, or you can add text, you can add vectors, you can add text, you can make edits to an image on Canva. If you want a little more experience, I would just recommend start with Photoshop. It's not a difficult software at all, guys, and Photoshop will help you a lot when you're planning to create this kind of content. Snapseed, Facetune, and ViscoCam are three apps, mobile apps, that you can use for editing images. Snapseed is typically for more portrait or human-centric images. ViscoCam and Lightroom also. I think I missed Lightroom here, but ViscoCam and Lightroom are two apps for which you have presets available. So if you just Google ViscoCam presets and Lightroom presets, you have a lot of influencers who are selling presets. You can also just buy one of those presets and apply that to every image that you have to have a nice look and feel going out for your entire Instagram feed. Facetune is an app that you can primarily use for food photography, because it has a very nice feature which is called a whitening feature. So when you click pictures of food where your plates are normally white, but they appear creamish or they appear yellowish in your image, You can actually use Facetune, and just in the app, you can make the entire plate white. It's quite a cool feature, so try that out. Pixaloop is a very nice app for creating those moving images. So if you're standing near the sea and you want to show that your hair is constantly flying because of the wind, Pixaloop is the app that you use for that. Or if you want to show the sea waves constantly moving in their image, you use Pixaloop for that. Lifelapse is a nice stop motion app where you can quickly create videos with stop motion photography. Filmora is an app for is a software for beginners or amateurs for video editing. Professionally, we use more of the Adobe software, so we work more with Adobe Premiere Pro, Illustrator, and MacBook users also do work with Final Cut Pro. If any of you all have MacBook. Wix, the reason we have Wix here is because for a lot of your Instagram clients, they might not have websites, right? But to market, they might not even need websites. Many times, all that they need is a landing page, and Wix is a very good platform for you guys to create landing pages because they have a lot of templates readily available. It's very cost effective for your client, and it's very easy for you. It's very intuitive for you to work with if you're a first time website creator or developer. Wix is a very easy software or tool for you to use. For analyzing and reporting, RightTag is a nice one for hashtag search. So hashtags for Twitter as well as Instagram. RightTag is a good website. Check it out. Social Blade I like for two reasons. One is they offer amazing analytics tools, primarily for YouTube and then for other softwares. But their Instagram analytics is also quite good. The other reason I like Social Blade is they come up with amazing blog articles. So when Instagram or Facebook has a new algorithm feature coming out, Social Blade is one of the first ones to capture it. They also give out amazing stats on your social media platforms, like how many users there are, which domain has how many users, what is the average CPC going on in different industries. CPC is cost per click. What is the average cost for impressions going on in every industry. Articles like these, Social Blade has a lot of them, so do follow them. Iconosquare is again an analytics tool primarily for Instagram, but they give you Instagram and Facebook insights. Like to Buy is a very interesting tool or software. So a lot of you guys must have seen on Instagram, on a post, there is a shopping bag icon. And when you click, what pops up is the price of a product within that post, which is called a shoppable Instagram post. So this feature is something Instagram has in a lot of countries, but it still doesn't have that feature in India. So when you see a lot of these brands selling stuff directly on Instagram, it's through this tool called Like to Buy, where you can basically make your Instagram feed shoppable. But I would still recommend having a landing page for your client. Even if they say that, okay, my Instagram feed is shoppable, why do I need to have a landing page? You need to have a landing page so you can retarget the audience who came to your landing page through pixels. If they're only on Instagram, you will not be able to retarget them. All right, so let's move on to the more interesting part of getting your first Instagram client, because I know a lot of the questions are also going to be about this module. First and foremost, very important, you have to brand yourself. You have to talk about what you're doing, what you know, and what you can offer to the end client or to the end customer. Very important for you to post each and every day, to talk about your work each and every day, and talk about your work in layman's language. Don't dive into the technicalities of CPCs and CTRs and ROAS, because nobody is going to understand that. Make it very simple. Talk about how much money was invested, how much profit was made. Talk about how many likes were received in how much amount spent. Talk about very basic stuff. Talk about how a post went really viral for a client of yours. So brand yourself, very important. Post every day, we cover that. um, Research well before you approach. Let's say you know, um, what company do we take for example? Um, a lot of you guys might be familiar with the soldstore.com. So soldstore.com sell t-shirts, mugs. They sell a lot of merchandise, but it is branded merchandise based on TV series, movies. So a lot of the Bahubali merchandise is available on the Soul Store. Game of Thrones merchandise is available on the Soul Store. So they have collaborations with not collaborations, but they have license agreements with Disney and a lot of the major brands. So suppose you were to approach the Soul Store, right? Go through their website, go through the products that they have, go through their current Instagram presence, current Facebook presence, look at how people are reacting to their posts, look at the general perception of that brand, get an idea of their brand value as well. Don't just give out a proposal or a pitch, even if it's a cold pitch, even if you're just cold messaging somebody on Instagram. Don't just say, hey, I'm so and so, I'm a digital marketer, I offer blah blah services. They are not interested, because unless you give them at least 3 pointers about what they can do better or what you can do better for them in their current marketing strategy, they are not even going to bother themselves with you, because trust me, they receive hundreds of such messages each and every day. So do your research well before you approach a client. Create a proposal with sample creatives. As somebody who has also been a client, nothing makes me happier than receiving an email in my inbox, because a lot of these emails are available, where somebody has emailed me as to what they can improve for us in our social media or in our marketing strategy. They have also taken the liberty to create sample creatives for us without us even asking, without them even knowing if we will ever get back to them. They've created sample creatives for us, and then they have introduced themselves. That much effort which has been put into a client pitch, we always reply to those kind of emails. So make sure if you go to your client with complete preparation of a proposal and sample creatives and what you can offer to them, and of course if you're giving them some 1 week or 2 week of free trial, they will be more than happy to work it out with you. And if you perform well in those 2 weeks, trust me, you have hooked that client and you will lock them in. Don't price yourself too low. This is one mistake that people make, especially in the Indian market. We have observed this, that people are looking to break each other's market. So, as a marketer, from a marketing agency, okay, personally from a marketer to you guys who are also probably aspiring marketers, don't price yourself too low, because what happens is, let's say there is a client who is looking to hire a freelancer or a marketing agency. One person's charging them $500, the other person's charging them $150. At the face of it, both of them are offering them the same thing. Both of them have given them some sort of a sample creative. But any experienced marketer who's charging $500, if you always ask them, can't they do it in $150? Yes, they can. But the amount of bandwidth they can give that client for that $150 does not justify the effort. In fact, it does not justify you having a client engagement for that price. The reason people say don't price yourself too low is you can charge $5 an hour, you can charge $30 an hour, but the output that you will give a client when you charge them $30 an hour is far more, considering your experience, considering the clients that you have worked with. A simple fact of when you start out as a designer, a client will make you do 2 to 3 revisions on every post that you create for Instagram or Facebook. As you gain more experience, 3 years, 4 years down the line, the moment the client gives you a brief, you grasp it so well and you understand the nerve of the client so well that you create a post for them and they don't even ask you for a revision. So you charge money, you charge them $30 an hour for the time that you save them, for the time that you have saved yourself, and for the experience that you have gained. Just because you don't have experience also doesn't mean you price yourself too low, because what you're offering them is you have proposed them sample creatives and a 2 week trial. You are actually um, gaining that credibility by giving them the 2 week trial and giving them the performance in that trial. So any kind of if they are skeptical to any extent based about the performance that you can give, about the performance that you might give them, they don't need to be, because you've already proven it to them in the first 2 weeks of trial. So they are getting exactly what they pay for, which is the performance, which is the ROI. Leverage Instagram hashtags. Create a hashtag for yourself and leverage Instagram as a platform for yourself as well. In India, a lot of influencers leverage Instagram, a lot of companies leverage Instagram, but a lot of freelancers and agencies or service providers still don't leverage Instagram. They still feel like Facebook and LinkedIn is the way to go. But trust me, Instagram can also end up giving you a lot of leads. If nothing, keep putting out your best work on Instagram and make a portfolio on Instagram itself, and people will start reaching out to you. Connect through Facebook groups. So this is one small trick that you guys can try out. If you guys are looking for somebody, let's say in the field of fitness, right? If you want a client in fitness, like a gym or a personal trainer, on Facebook in the search bar, type in keywords like fitness, personal coach, trainer, gym trainer, keto diet, all these terms related to fitness. And when the results pop up, go on to the groups tab. You will see a lot of these different fitness groups and get yourself added in all of these groups. uh, these groups are made up of all of these fitness trainers, gyms, and the entire health community, and all of these guys require marketing. So if that's the niche you're looking for, when they ask you a question, add value, add input from a marketer's point of view. And once they start seeing that you know the stuff that you're talking about, they will reach out to you and ask you for your marketing services. That's how you also get a lead to convert easily, because you keep adding value, and without them realizing that you're actually trying to hook them onto your services. These are a few tips that we have for you to get your first Instagram client. But don't forget point number one, that is brand yourself, because many times you start working on something and your first circle and second circle of people also don't know what you're working on, that you have chosen marketing as a field. So till you brand yourself, you won't get those clients that can come out from your close network of people also. And now it's time for Q&A. So I'm going to answer all of the questions that you guys have in chat. Just bear with me for a moment. Okay. Right. Okay, the first question that I have is, how will I get the recorded session? The recorded session will be up in on What's Your Chase in webinars. There is a recorded webinar section. You will find the recorded session there. Can we build an independent career on Instagram as a poet and a creative writer? Mm, most definitely can. Um, I'm not sure if you follow. There is this one Instagram handle by the name of I think Akshar Pathak or someone. All that he's a very funny and a very witty guy. So he's funny, witty, sarcastic. That's what his personality is like. And all that guy does is basically writes 2-3 line statements or jokes on each and every post, and he has a massive following. So if a guy like that can build a career on Instagram, you definitely can. Poet and creative writing is a very underrated but very appreciated art. So you definitely can build a career on Instagram only, but you have to start leveraging paid ads. You can't just keep posting and think that organically you're going to reach that level. Okay, guys, just give me a minute. I need to full screen this. The next one. Does giving hashtags on stories increase the organic growth? It does, but be very sure of which hashtags you're using, because people are not, so people still search for hashtags on Instagram, but they have not become very savvy that they search for the hashtag and look for stories, like click on the stories button. So be very sure of which hashtags you're using, and they help in growth, not like they don't. For example, the stay home sticker that Instagram just made live because of COVID and the lockdown. The more you use those stickers, you will see your organic growth has increased, especially when your content is engaging. So yeah, it is definitely something you can try out. Yeah, hashtags do work. How to basically increase number of views on your poetry account? Um, okay, first would definitely be post consistently, post quality work. Second would be try a lot of different innovative hashtags. Third, very importantly, start promoting your posts, use sponsored ads. But fourth and the most important, I would say, is connect with a lot of people within the community, within the poetry community, within uh, poetry, journalism, writing. They are all very interconnected. So connect with more people from this field, from this domain, and try and get published on a lot of accounts and publications that talk about poetry, and then take that snippet and promote that snippet for your Instagram profile. That will give you more followers. As per as per your tips and tricks, do you think that TikTok is good for marketing, because it has also 1 billion plus downloads? TikTok is very good for marketing. uh, Also depending on which industry you belong to, because if it's a very serious industry, TikTok is not good for marketing. Food industry, it's quite good. Get your client to create a nice picture of their chef cooking food, dancing to a song on TikTok, and it will give you some really amazing viral views. TikTok is quite good for marketing. Also start advertising on TikTok if you have the access. That's an untapped market. So it's a little off track, but what increases organic reach on Facebook, if you could tell? Hmm. To increase organic reach on Facebook, I would really recommend to create a Facebook group now, because only when you have people in a Facebook group will they actually see your post. If you're posting something on a Facebook page, the likelihood of people seeing it reaching to people and you getting the likes and shares and views organically is 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 minimal to zero, I would say. So, but also the thing is, promoting on a Facebook page is quite cheap. Even if you just promote one post for 40 rupees, which is quite cheap, like 40 is a very basic cost. If you promote one post for 40 rupees, it easily gives you 150 plus likes. It easily reaches to over 2,000, 3,000 people. So yeah, I would suggest go for the paid. I mean, the amount of effort you will be putting into organic for Facebook, you might as well do a small paid effort, right? Some tips for hashtag research. Okay, so if you open Instagram on your desktop and you search for a hashtag, if it's a good trending hashtag which a large number of following, right below it you see related hashtags. Always make sure to note down those related hashtags and check their following, because if you go into skincare, it will show you the 5 topmost related skincare hashtags. So that is one good way to go about that. Uh, another thing that another thing that you could do is, when you're using hashtags, right, remember that the the more the following for that hashtag, uh, the more people are using it, one, that hashtag, and the more people are also looking for it. And the lesser the following for that hashtag, the more niche that hashtag is, and the chances of you being found through that hashtag are much higher. So always split your hashtags into 3 or 4 sections. Hashtags that go into um, a few thousands, probably 5,000 to 10,000 followers. Hashtags that go into 100 to 150,000, and so on and so forth, into millions, basically. So split your hashtag into different levels. Is Instagram good for micro influencers? Instagram is very good for micro influencers. In fact, very soon they're going to experiment with hiding likes and followers. So a lot of companies are using clusters of micro influencers to promote their products rather than investing in one macro influencer, if I may call them that. So micro influencers are good for Instagram. Also, position yourself as a micro influencer. Very few people call themselves that, but micro influencers are a lot more attractive to smaller brands than the bigger influencers because they can't afford them normally. Micro influencers range somewhere between 1,000 to 5,000 to 10,000 per post. That's the max that they charge. Anything beyond that, you are not a micro influencer. How to create a relatable hashtag? What's your domain? Tell me what your domain is or what the industry is, and then maybe I can help you out. What is the best way to stay in trend? Keep your eyes open, keep your ears open, and keep consuming content. As a pencil artist, share some tips to get more reach. As a pencil artist, do you mean you sketch or do you create art on pencil? But if you sketch basically, doodles, create doodles, create artwork on what is trending, man. I mean, create artwork on COVID, create artwork on thanking doctors, create artwork on, we had Easter, you could have created artwork on Easter. I mean, create artwork on what is trending. That's the best way for you to be in, to get more reach, and use those hashtags. Just keep flowing with that. I'm a student. Can I post a video, buy likes, and become famous? Anybody can post a video, anybody can buy likes, and they will not become famous. One is, don't buy likes, because by buy likes, I don't understand if you're talking about a paid promotion or you're talking about like purchasing likes and purchasing followers, because don't do that. The moment Facebook realizes, Instagram realizes, they will block your IP, they will try and block you lifetime from that app. Number one, so don't do that. And second, that's not going to get you any engagement, that's not going to get you any credibility in the market. It's very superficial. As a student, yes, it doesn't matter if you're a student or you're 80 years old. If you have value to offer, if you're creating a video, do that. Do it consistently. Plan out your content. Have a strategy for it. Identify who your audience is and make sure your messaging and everything that you give out is in line for that audience. And invest a bit in paid promotions. And I don't know if you'll become famous, but it'll definitely help you in your growth. How much will it help me gain my account if I daily post on Instagram in terms of followers? If you post daily, you can post daily and you can use 0 hashtags. It's not going to give you any followers. You can post daily, you can use a lot of hashtags, but you can post very crappy content. It's still not going to gain you followers. Getting followers on Instagram is has to be a perfect combination of good quality content, correctly used hashtags, posting consistently every single day, posting at the right time, targeting the right audience, and paid promotions. Because otherwise, you will increase like 1, 2, 3 followers in a week, and it's a lot of effort for 3 followers. Can you follow me? I could, but it says anonymous attendee has posted, can you follow me? So I don't think I can. Which type of marketing do you do? We do Instagram marketing, we do Facebook marketing, we do funnel marketing, we do e-commerce, we do Amazon marketing. So we pretty much cover the gamut. I want to make a page regarding updates, news. Is it a good idea? It is a good idea, but it'll be very problematic for Facebook ads, because if you're creating a news page for India, half of the news is going to be about politics, and Facebook is very iffy when it comes to promoting news on politics and religion and blah 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 topics. But definitely it's a good idea to create a page. But also there are a lot of these pages on Facebook, and Facebook has also now started flagging pages, because a lot of communities with agendas, especially religious agendas, have started creating these pages and propagating content and spreading false news and false content. So Facebook has gotten extremely cautious about the news pages that people create. So unless you're willing to take that much pain, don't create a news page. But if you're ready to go through all of that, if you're very enthusiastic about, I don't know, journalism and fighting for what's right, then please go ahead. It's a good idea. But nowadays TikTok is also going competitive, so how can we also follow these rules there too? Unfortunately, that will be a whole different webinar on how to market yourself on TikTok, but we'll try to cover that as well soon. How to follow these rules there. Okay, primarily, are you posting every single day? Because there are so many people who ask this and they just don't post every single day. Number one. TikTok collaborate with a lot of people. TikTok is a lot about collaborating with different micro influencers, collaborating with different people from your industry. So collaboration is a major step forward for TikTok. Is it necessary to follow hashtags to increase reach on our account? On our account, not necessary. No. As I'm going to run quickly by these because we are losing our time. As I'm a micro influencer, my account's main problem is reach is not coming to my account. You will have to invest a bit in paid ads because, like I told you, Instagram's organic reach is also slowly dying, and there are so many micro influencers out there. I mean, people with zero comments on their Instagram page have also positioned themselves as micro influencers. So in a lot of ways, the algorithm also gets confused. So invest a bit in paid marketing. One benefit of paid marketing is today if my post is not getting an organic reach, and um, I invest in sponsored marketing and I promote that post through my paid marketing. When it appears on people's feeds and they engage with it, the next time I post something and I don't promote it also, organically my engagement also increases one notch higher than what it previously was, because the algorithm remembers that those people engaged with your post when you had promoted it. So paid promotions also help your organic reach on Instagram. It's a cycle, remember that. So yeah, if you're a sketch artist, basically, you should sketch out whatever is trending. You should sketch out concepts. People who authors look at authors, look at influencers, look at business coaches, life coaches. They have a lot of quotables. Sketch those out in a concept form, because if your post gets reposted by a life coach or a business coach or a very famous health coach, that will increase your following like that. So target influencers on whom you can create content, and maybe create that content and keep tagging them, promote that as well, and they will most definitely repost you, because there are very few people who are doing that. What is the relativity with the community? I'm not sure what that means. Is it important to post the same pic on FB or Twitter which you have posted on Insta? It's not, but it's better than posting nothing, right? It's just one button away, so just post it. I'm a micro influencer of some 5-7 brands, but now it isn't too high. I'm not sure what that question means. Ayush, can you just rephrase that? I have a poetry page, best timings for posting there. Make your profile a business profile. Post continuously for 7 days, and then go to your insights, and it will show you the timing where your audience was most active. That's your best timing to post. It will also show you the timings when you got the most amount of engagement. That's the best time for you to post. Is sharing a post become prizeful to the company? I don't know what that means. Can you also make a video on drop shipping business? We will probably after COVID, because right now you can't. I mean, we can't. There's no point of making the video right now. Or online business, we'll definitely try. Is it important to post the same pic on FB or Twitter, which you have posted? I already answered this. Now, Insta gives two options: business and creator account. What should we go for? If you're a creator, like the guy who sketches, go for a creator account. If you are a business or an agency willing to offer services, business account. For a business account, you'll need to give in a URL or a website. It could also be your Facebook profile URL that you put in, that's fine. But I would suggest a business account. Business account is effective or artist account? Business account is more effective. Follow me on Instagram. That's a good plug. What's the best timing for posting on Instagram according to you? Prime time starts at 9 p.m. in India, and around between 12 p.m. Between 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. in the afternoon, and then prime time 8:30 p.m. to 10 p.m. is a good time to post. Okay, so most of these questions are answered. Okay, we're quickly going to the chat. Shall we DM some popular pages for writing? Yes. DM people like crazy. DM 5 people every day, 10 people every day. Make that like a clockwork task of reaching out to people, sending them code messages. But don't DM them blindly, okay? So when you're DMing them, do some research, go through their content, say, hey, we saw this piece of content, we really like this. I mean, I really like this. And I also come up with so and so type of content. And, would you be interested? And build a relationship with them in that way. Don't just pitch yourself constantly. Okay, most of these are answered as well. Here we have more questions. Okay, how long is the session? The session's actually ended. It's 9 p.m. So what is the best timing for posting on Instagram? I just answered the best timing for posting on Instagram. So yeah, I think we are done with answering all the questions. Free tools that will help you grow the page. Anything that helps you grow anything in the world of marketing doesn't come free. Remember that as the last takeaway before we stop this session, because we are already it's past 9 and we had a very nice Q&A. So we are going to stop this session here. So this was a great webinar, guys. We had a lot of questions. We answered a lot of questions. If you guys have any more questions, you all can reach out to me for a one-on-one mentor meeting. Go to mentorplace at whatsyourchase.com, mentorplace. You can find me listed under digital marketing and entrepreneurship, and you can book a call with me and we can answer more questions for you there. So see you guys. Have a great night, and this was a good show. Thank you. Bye-bye. Good night.